Now this is weird. We are pleased that you could join our humble celebration. Our humble celebration are these two are not the mother and father, right? I don't think so. I think the name of the mother and father were different. I think at least they told us the name of the mother. Kriya holds her head up high and does not smile. She turns to the woman, pointedly speaks to her. I'm Keshoni Drerlak of Azer, second city of Underdark. You are of the Silver Guild. No introduction for me, you think as you clear your throat. The eyes of the couple dart over to you, and then back to Kriya. Cinta's smile broadens. Yes, my husband. We are second masters of House Hallowflame. Hallowflame, right? Our house holds the Duke's confidence for all silver production and a tenth of gold production for the realm. Impressive, says Kriya, and wealthy, you think. I noticed you earlier near humble performers, and I was curious about your opinion. What your opinion was of our music? That's an interesting question. Asked Cinta. Maybe he's just starting a conversation, or maybe that is his question, but we'll see. Egra rises inside your mind, catching you by surprise. Before you know it, you say, "We have the best music." We have the best music? Okay, do not force my speech, you say to Egra, and then take the initiative. I tire of being left out of conversation, says Egra. In the corner of your eye, it appears Kriya is glaring at you. Really? Says Cinta. I've never had the pleasure of hearing music of the Underdark. Please tell me what it is like. What it is like. You decide you had better keep the conversation lively, or Egra may try to take over again. A great deal of flutes, you say. You see all our instruments are fashioned from bones of our enemies, and the leg femur makes for an excellent flute as well as... Please forgive him, interrupts Kriya in a tone that brings a chill in your spine. My worm has a dark and misplaced sense of humor. I was trying to adapt him to the surface world. I rather enjoy your soft breezes and moonlight, but the sun is a horrid thing, you say as you shield your eyes with your hand. Cinta glances to you, but then smiles at Kriya apologetically. We really do appreciate your sacrifice coming up here in the daylight to pay respect to the Duke's family. Suffering brings strength, says Kriya. So many guilds in the city, you say. I've heard that there is even a guild for animal feces left in the street. What the fuck is that? I've heard that there's even a guild for animal feces left in the street. I'm not quite sure what that means. I think like a cleaning guild? Like a municipal department or something? I'm not quite sure. Cinta nods at her husband, Frederick, and he quickly steps over in front of you as though to take on your conversation and allow the women to speak alone. You take the hint and take a step away from Kriya. Yes, the Destrian Guild. You're acquainted with Levin? He asks. The wife, Rohatia. Wait. Oh, hold on. Yes, that was her name, Rohatia, the woman we met. Yes, the Destrian Guild. You are acquainted with Levin. Levin, I'm guessing, is the master of this guild and wife or husband of Rohatia. The wife, Rohatia. Beautiful voice for a human female, you say. I would seduce her if not for her dark red hair. We dark elves dislike redheads. He chuckles uncomfortably. I also met a friend of hers, Katrine, a willful creature, you say. She would make a fine dark elf. He chuckles again. I know of her. It is said that she can have a sharp tongue, particularly after wine, you say. His eyebrows raise and he gives you his first unforced smile. You have indeed met her. If Tches smiles on you, you may meet them again during the ceremony. Certainly their families will attend, perhaps in the inner circle. As a dark elf, you're not sure you should be allowing this man to feel so comfortable around you. On the other hand, as a guildmaster of a powerful house, he certainly knows things worth knowing. I just find it fascinating how a city is like a tapestry with countless intertwining threads, you say. I just find it's fascinating how a city like a tapestry with countless intertwining threads. I forget what a tapestry is. I actually need to check that. Hold on. Okay, so tapestry is some sort of like textile to make curtains or something. So he's just essentially saying like how the fabric of a curtain is like intertwined. This is just as fascinating as that. Certainly the cities of Underdark are the same, says Frederick. Surprised you're not asking him about the guild keeps the silver, ask Egra in your mind. I'm working my way to that, you reply. I wouldn't know how our city works. We use slaves for most tasks, you say with a shrug. Now we both know that some threads of the fabric are thicker than others. I have no interest in those who shovel feces in the Destrian Guild. but rather the silver mining business. As a creature of the dark, I have always been interested in what occurs underground. Frederick straightens up. My family has known the business for 6 generations. I'm blessed by the gods. Frederick, it is time to go, says Cinta nearby. You barely noticed that they had been having their own conversation. Cinta courtesies to Kriya. Ye shall take no more of your time. I only wish to pay my respect to you and your noble race. She takes a step back. Kriya nods. Frederick bows and takes his wife by the arm. As they back away, they continue to bow and courtesy as though you were royalty. That's really weird. But it is understandable, I suppose. When the couple disappears into the crowd, Kriya turns to you. Are you going to keep acting like a fool? You shrug. It's the truth. When you choose to be quiet, you risk Agra speaking for you, which is far worse. Kriya sighs. I do not mean to spoil your fun, but when you act unpredictably, it makes it difficult for us to plan anything. And you do realize that we are one wrong word away from being put to the sword. It might do you some good to relax, you say. Kriya twists her lip and then says, all that is required of you is to stand silently. I wager that you only know dark elves from your books, you say. No doubt mostly true. There are exceptions to all behavior. Kriya raises an eyebrow. She smiles and shakes her head. Perhaps I shall just surrender my fate to the gods, since it appears impossible to break through to you. I suspect your enchantment is waning, you say, folding your arms. Next time, convince instead. I suspect your enchantment is waning, you say, folding your arm. Next time, convince instead of bewitch for a better long-term outcome. Do not allow your petty pride to steal your focus, says Kriya. We must not forsake our dying friend Bonebrow. When did Bonebrow become your friend, Kriya, is the real question. As for the petty pride, we are pretty much a dead man at this point. Like, the only reason I know we're going to live is because, plot. But because it's a story, if the main character dies, that would be very difficult to continue. So what we are showing is less akin to petty pride, and more akin to dead man's pride, which we are certainly showing very slightly. And a dead man's pride is high because, a dead man has nothing to lose. So that's why, if you force it, there's a lot to lose. Your claim that the enchantment is waning is a lie. You find it taxing to summon genuine anger at Kriya. Oh, that's why we're acting so aloof and all these things. Okay, so that makes a tad bit more sense, that the way we are behaving is because the enchantment is clearly forcing us to be on her side. That's why we're somehow able to curb our anger from getting hit constantly and humiliated, I suppose. You decide to change the subject. I wonder why the guildmasters were so brave. They are the only ones yet to approach us. Less about courage and more about opportunity, says Kriya. The Silver Mining Guild would do well to get along with those who dwell beneath the ground. Well, word must have spread that we do not kill those we speak to, you say. Here comes another brave couple. A young man and woman, perhaps in their late teens, both of them beautiful, are now approaching. The man has no shirt on, displaying his remarkable muscles. His tight, short pants highlight his large toned calves. The woman wears a semi-transparent silken dress, teasing at the gorgeous body beneath. They each carry a pole, at the end of which is what you take for a fan. What? At the end of which is what you take to be a fan, resembling an illusionary illustration you have seen of the tool slaves used to cool their master in the hotter region of the south. They bow their head as they draw near. The woman speaks. It would please us and our master, Frederick and Cinta of House Hallowflame, if you could provide comfort. If you could provide shade for your comfort. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, they send them to cover us because, the sun and all that. You mean to follow us while holding those over our heads? Asked Kriya, pointing to the fan pole in the woman's hand. Yes, if it pleases you, she says, her eyes cast to the ground. Refuge from the sun, says Egra. I would enjoy seeing through your eyes better. Okay. Kriya puts her finger to her chin as though considering it. To your surprise, she looks over to you, apparently inviting your opinion. Maybe she wishes to mend her argument with a measure of respect, you think? There's an issue with this. Now, again, I'm gonna make a rational decision. Let's see this. See, I could accept the courtesy, right? But then there are two eyes constantly on us, and not to mention 2 ears. Then there will be constantly listening to every single conversation we have, even though we are mostly having mundane conversations. I'd rather them not catch up onto something. So that would be my logic behind denying this. Even though it is understandable that that a noble would send these slaves, and in which case it would be polite of us to accept. But considering how proud our race are, I will go with turn them away, I would say. Lean over and whisper into Kriya's ear. Certainly they're spies for House Hallowflame. That's what I was thinking. Kriya's mouth falls open slightly. She gives you an approving smile. You learn quickly. You know a lot more than me, right? Of course. You learn quickly. She puts a finger on your chin, a gentle push to turn your head. She whispers in your ear, such company shall remind us to keep our tongues in check. It's something we should be doing anyway in the meantime. I would enjoy the shade. You suspect Kriya also enjoys the thought of stuttering about with a pair of servants trailing behind her. She has lost it. Like, the only possible, conceivable reason I could see at this point of us surviving is because we know we are the main character. That's the only reason I could say that Rooster will survive this. Sometimes I talk like when I say I and I'm referring to the main character, I'm not putting myself in their place, because I'm just putting myself in the player. I'm just putting myself behind the controls of the main character. So don't think I'm putting myself in the shoes of Rooster. I am simply the puppet master here, and I am worried about my character. So that's why I sometimes say if anyone's confused about that. But Kriya is going to get us killed, because I don't see a single possible way that we could possibly survive this other than just absolute dumb shit luck and the plot armor that we will be provided with. But we'll see. I'm waiting for that one chapter. I'm guessing it's coming. I'm guessing 10th or 11th or 12th chapter would be the one which will be filled to the brim with death checks. Like, any wrong step you take is just going to be death constantly. That's gonna be a pain in the ass. Kriya turns to the woman. It would please me. The pair takes their position. The man with his shaved chest stands to the side, and slightly behind Kriya hangs his fabric over her. The woman does the same for you. Kriya then moves forward. The four of you walk around slowly as though conducting your own private parade. People continue to give you space. You look over at the servant woman near you. She averts her large almond eyes. You expect that it would be pleasant to try to make some conversation with her. On the other hand, that would likely raise the ire of Kriya. No doubt dark elves don't speak to servants except to shout commands. Otherwise, you could focus on the crowd and your purpose. You have only caught a few glimpses of Bonebrow in the crowd so far. I'm gonna speak to her because, logical decision would be in this section. What would be the logical decision? Let me think. I don't see any particular reason to not talk to her. Like, obviously, it probably will not give us too much information, and it's probably just going to piss Kriya off. And the other one was just stay silent and watchful, which is not going to do anything because we can't hear shit. There's just so much light, we probably can't see shit. So if it pisses Kriya off, sure, speak to her. Good. Agra likes it at least. She might know where the guild keeps the silver. She's a servant. Why would she know, you think? If you could get your handsome and dexterous hands on that much loot, you could pay off House Ruda here and have enough left over to live like a king, at least for a few months. Besides, shouldn't you be blending in? How better to do that than to relax and enjoy yourself? You're doing a fine job shadowing me, miss, you say. What is your name? There's a flicker of surprise in her eyes before she lowers them again. If it pleases you, I'm called Liar. Liar. Liar, really? This woman is called a liar? She's a liar, damn. She would never tell us where the silver is. Liar is a lovely name, you say. Liar, how long have you served House Hallowflame? Kriya elbows you in the rib, making you grunt. Step to the side out of the range. Liar expertly follows your movement, not allowing a ray of sunshine to hit you. Since birth, sire. You're a slave, you ask? She shakes her lovely blonde locks. No, sire. My family has willingly served House Hallowflame for generations. You continue asking Liar about her herself and her daily life. In doing so, you find out her companion is named Jandar. Agra only comments on occasion and you can barely feel her presence. You're not surprised the godling is in hiding with all the priests of rival gods sprinkling throughout the crowd. As for Lyre, her life apparently consists of a few daily regular chores along with a great deal of waiting around for commands. You can't imagine standing at attention for hours at a time. What does she think about?